What's up, everybody? Welcome to the new episode. I have here with me Mr. Tam Lam. Thanks for joining me. So he's a fellow filmmaker, and I'm so glad to have him share his story with all of you. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So you're filming a lot, you're on the go. Tell me, was filming always a part of your background? What's your story?
So my story was that I started out skateboarding. That was my first love. And from that, I discovered cinematography. So this is a pretty common story. And I'm sure you've heard a lot of filmmakers who start out skateboarding. And I stuck with filming skateboarding because even though I love skateboarding, I was better at filming. Plus, I didn't get hurt. And I continued to do that. And eventually, I got to the point now where I'm doing it as a living. So skateboarding was the start of it all. And I'm grateful for that experience.
Nice.
So yeah, that was 11 years ago when I first picked up my camera and started filming. Yeah. So it's really cool. I went on a lot of ventures with friends. Like we'll stay up to like 3, 4 in the morning. Bring our lights out and generators. And like we'll trespass. Never got in trouble for it, fortunately. But it was one of those things where you just out with the boys and stay up late and just have fun while everyone is sleeping. So that was a cool experience.
Very cool. Very cool. So thanks. I know we were talking about you being an immigrant from Vietnam. Can you tell me that story and any challenges that you faced?
Yes. So I call it the lottery ticket story. And literally it was based on the lottery ticket. So there are 3 things that goes into the story. It's there's the value of patience. My parents had to wait 10 years to get approved to fly over here. So when you sign up to migrate to America, there's the approval process. And we waited 10 years before we were approved to fly over here. So patience, one of them, and then the other one's a little bit of luck. So the lottery ticket, my dad loves buying lottery tickets. And to this day, he buys 1 or 2 every day. And in Vietnam, it's a little bit easier to win. But when you do, it's not that much. But he won the lottery ticket, and with that money, he was able to buy a home. And with that home that we bought, we sold it to get the tickets to fly over here. So without that lottery ticket, there was no home and no money to buy tickets to fly over here. So that's the second thing. That's luck, right? A little bit of luck, patience, and then also the third thing, which is I think is the most important, is the power of prayers. My dad will pray every morning. He will go out and pray with the incense, and he'll do that every day, and he still does it today. So those are the 3 main reasons of how we got here. So a little bit of luck, being patient, and praying, like being positive. Wow. So and we really appreciate the little things because we came from a pretty poor background. So I know what it's like to have nothing. My parents grew up during the communist attack. Oh, okay. So my dad he went through a lot. Let's just put it that way. And his story is the main reason why I appreciate the little things. I try to not complain as much as I can because my parents have been through so much so that I can get here. So and coming over here was a little bit tough because growing up being that Asian kid that migrated here, a lot of other kids would bully me and pick on me. But I learned from it, and I grew from it, and it was adversity that I had to overcome. And so that's pretty much my story of how we got here. Yeah.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah. Thanks,
That's
man.
awesome.
Yeah.
So I know you were telling me that you were self-taught. How did you get into filming? When was that point when you knew, okay, I like this, I want to keep pursuing this? Yeah,
so skateboarding, I filmed that for 6 years, and it was super fun. It was my passion for the longest time. And after a while, it was getting kind of tiring, and I wanted to do something new. And I didn't really know where to go. After that 6 years of filming skateboarding, I decided to jump into doing this professionally, full time. And I was a little hesitant, but my friend, his name is also Tam. He's a very good photographer. He gave me the push gave me the motivation, and he actually believed in me even when I didn't believe in myself. He saw potential in me, and he is one of the main reasons why I'm here today. He told me to do this full time and pursue it as a career. So it was about, I believe, 5 years ago. I quit my 9 to 5, quit school. At that time, I was trying to figure out what I want to do because my parents would tell me, go to school, get a degree, become a doctor, become something,
Yeah,
make that. Yeah, they're pretty old school, but I quit my 9 to 5, quit school, and pursue this full time. And the first 2 years, I was just kind of struggling, but I eventually got my name out there, and now I am at a pretty good place where I'm pretty consistent with work. So
nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Thanks.
So, did you job shadow first? What was like your first job? Did you, in terms of getting experience?
For filmmaking?
For filmmaking.
No, I didn't really have anyone to shadow. I didn't even think about that. Back then, social media wasn't like it is how it is today. Now today, you could DM someone, ask if you want to shadow somebody, right? And sometimes they reply, and you can go learn much faster. I didn't have that back then, so it was just a lot of mistakes that I had to learn on my own, and so kind of learn everything on my own. Unfortunately, I didn't have anyone there, but it would be nice.
Yeah,
I would have been nice if social media was around then.
Right.
Like how it is now.
It's here now, so.
No, I'm grateful for the experiences.
Yeah, so speaking of social media, because I know you're on Instagram, right? And I love your posts because they're really funny. Some of them are super funny and really cool. So you are into fitness, you are into gimbals, and how did you mesh those together? Because I know some of your posts, how do you come up with the ideas for some of your posts? Because I know you had like that one where you had the gimbals, it was like a gimbal workout. How did you come up with that?
The gimbal training video, that I came up on the spot. It was kind of funny. I don't know if you can relate to this, but you're really creative. I'm really creative when I get very little sleep. So when I'm sleep deprived, my logic kind of goes out the window, and you get creative. Yeah. So that day, I got 3-4 hours of sleep, and I was shooting with Jason Vong. Shout out to Jason Vong. We were collaborating that day in LA, and we just happened to have 2 gimbals. And I said, hey, can you film me running up and down the stairs with the gimbals? And then we were about to wrap up, and I was like, hey, can you shoot some more of me doing squat with this? Yeah. And then I just It's one of those things when you're with the right people, ideas just pop up, and Jason's a pretty creative guy too, and I came up with the idea on the spot.
Nice. So basically it's like organic, it kind of comes in the spur of the moment, and you just got to run with it.
It definitely wasn't planned. But it was fun.
It looked like it was planned though.
No, it was
a little bit in some parts, but it worked out together once it was put together.
Thank you. That was fun.
So Gimbros, your community that you created on Instagram, how did you come up with that idea to create a community around gimbals?
It's funny.
And bros.
Yes. So I would just talk to my friend Jocelyn, and I call him Gimbal. It was just one of those things I just came up on the spot, and he was like, dude, that's pretty cool. You should create an Instagram page for it. And I said, oh yeah, I will. And then I created the Instagram page for it. Gimbal Bros equal Gimbros. So, and then I'm really passionate about gimbals because when it comes to visual storytelling, movement, it's how I approach it. So I love that dynamic visual stimulant when it comes to the gimbal movements. And I want to share other people's gimbals and setups, and kind of be the hub for people to go to if they want to find out more about gimbals, or if they want to follow people that use gimbals a lot. So that's kind of what started Gimbals.
Oh, very cool. Because I see that community, it's growing, it's awesome.
Thank you.
And I check it out sometimes because you have some cool posts on it, so that's very, very cool.
Thank you. It's fun. I really enjoy posting and sharing on social media. So they say that when your passion is shared, it's magnified. So social media has been that platform for me. That's why I'm on there so much. I post so much.
I see.
Yeah. So it's fun for me. To some people, it's work. It can be work at times.
Right. But if you like what you do, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't feel like work.
Yeah, it's very true.
sometimes.
It's
Yeah.
very true.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Thanks, man.
So in terms of gimbals, because I know you utilize them a lot, what do you look for in a gimbal? Like what specific features do you look for when choosing a gimbal, and what is your current gimbal that you use a lot?
Right now, I'm using the Xeon Crane 2, and when I look for a gimbal, I like to get one that can handle more weight, just so I can add a little bit more accessories to it. Definitely need one that's reliable, and Xeon has been really reliable so far. I trust their product. I love their product. What else am I looking for a gimbal? Size, for sure. I start out with the Ronin. So that was a back workout and a shoulder workout every time I used that.
Because you got the two handles right here, right?
You remember when it first came out, there was like no pistol grip gimbals.
Yeah.
So it was just that big Ronin or like the Ronin M.
Exactly.
And like I got the Ronin right when it first came out. I pre-ordered. I was super stoked.
Yeah.
I put on my credit card, got it, invest in it, and then the Ronin M came out, and I was like, man, I wish I got the Ronin M.
Right.
But size is a big thing because I do a lot of travel gigs, and the Crane 2, the pistol grip gimbal, you can break it down and make it really compact, which is easy for travel. And then I bought a separate dual handlebar system that you can also break down, which is also convenient.
Exactly.
For travel. So
yeah, because I saw you were using that in the last event that we were filming at.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's really smart.
Thanks,
right?
man.
Because you have the crane right there that you could hook up, and then you have the two handlebars, and you can mount your monitor and whatever else on it. But then when you take it down, break it down, it's really compact.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Thanks,
very
man.
Cool.
It's really fun. It's like kind of like Legos.
Yeah.
There's so many ways to go about it.
Uh-huh.
And everyone has their own setup. It's kind of interesting to see like everyone kind of have the same thing, but they modify it a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. It's
yeah,
really
because I see a lot of people using like the Ronin or similar types of gimbals, and then now I'm starting to see more people using like the pistol grip type gimbals. And I know the Ronin or DJI, I think they're coming out with the pistol grip gimbal.
Oh, they just came out with the Ronin S.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can pre-order it. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I've seen people put a red on that thing.
Yeah. I saw like a video with a guy with like holding it with like a red on there.
Yeah.
Under.
That's so crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah. What I like about that is that they were clever enough to put the arm a little lower so you can see the monitor. It doesn't obstruct the view of your monitor.
Right.
Is it the arm? Yeah.
So it's like out here.
Yeah.
Rather than like.
Yeah. Right in front of the monitor. Yeah, but it's crazy. I tried it at NAB. It's really responsive.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So you tried it with the red on it?
No, just with the DSLR.
Okay, we just
Anything DJI comes out with, it's gonna sell like hotcakes.
Of course,
It was sold out, I think, during the pre-order.
No way.
Or can things be sold out during pre-orders?
I don't know. I don't think so.
That's what I heard.
Wow, maybe they did. I wouldn't be surprised because DJI, they always come out with quality stuff.
Yeah.
So.
But I know that they're a little late to the pistol grip game, so we'll see how it is. They could make something good, but is it reliable? That's the question.
Exactly.
So
That's true.
Yeah, Xeon has been really reliable for me. I'm not paid to say that, just so you guys know.
But you use it a lot, so you can't complain. So in terms of now, how do you network? How do you get your clients?
It's all been through word of mouth so far. I never really invested in marketing. Maybe I should, but I've built a lot of relationships with other production companies, which is nice because I don't have to worry about the pre-production process as much or post-production process. I mean, show up and shoot. So I'm working with 7 to 8 different production companies, and they're all okay with me working with one another because in a way they're not really competing with each other. Yeah. And it's not like we signed a contract where I go on full time with that production company. So they're really flexible, and I kind of got into it by accident where I really love filming. I just don't enjoy editing as much or the pre-production process as much. So in a way I got lucky with that where I built this connection or these connections with a lot of production companies, and they just hit me up whenever they need help, and I show up with the gear and I do what I love most, which is camera op. And then here and then I'll direct and camera op at the same time. But yeah.
Very cool.
So word of mouth and social media too. Instagram has gotten me some work. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's convenient because, after you build that network, basically, you just keep building it, but now you have different places that you can pull from when it comes to jobs. So that's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I know you get work through word of mouth too, right? You haven't paid for any advertisement.
Exactly. I mean, so far I haven't done any paid advertising. I know I'll probably do that in the future, but really the network, the type of network that you build and foster is one thing that you have to keep building and keeping your relationship with. That's important because what I've noticed is a lot of people build their network and they tend to forget about the people and clients that they work with in the beginning that gave them those jobs. And so they are always searching for the next client, but then if they keep doing that, they're always going to be searching for the next client, the next person to work with, and then they forget about the people in the past. Because the other people that I know that are successful, they keep great relationships with the people that they work with earlier on in their career, and I know they still give them business to this day. So it's just, fostering that network that you have is very important.
Yes. That's something not many people talk about, maintaining that relationship.
Yes.
It's like, getting a client. It's kind of like a relationship when you get a girlfriend. And getting a girlfriend's one thing, but to maintain that's another thing.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. That's what I found to be very important. Like the ones that are actually, successful and getting consistent jobs. It's the maintenance of that relationship. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it also has to do with showing appreciation for the work you get.
Exactly.
Gratitude.
Because you have to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Exactly. Awesome. So, project-wise, what are the main types of projects that you film currently?
So right now, I'm doing a lot of events, weddings, and marketing events. I do a little bit of real estate, not as much anymore. Music videos here and there, shooting for schools, corporates, stuff like that. I've done a Kickstarter video once, but I try to stay with the more creative jobs over the corporate jobs, just because you get to be more creative.
Exactly. Yeah. Get the creative juices flowing.
Yeah.
So, what would you say has been the project that you had the most fun on to film?
Oh, I really enjoy working with kids. So currently I'm doing this big project for Mayfield Junior School in Pasadena. It's a Catholic school. And the kids are amazing to work with. And they're not shy at all. They're really easy to work with in front of the camera. They'll come to you. You don't have to tell them to go in front of the camera.
That's the best.
Yes, right. It makes it work easier. And they're all, not just that, they're very smart and very, very talented too. So it's really cool. And one of the beauty of being around kids is that they bring out the kid in you. So it's not, I'm sure you know this too, and you can relate. As you get older, you kind of forget what it's like to have that curiosity or the desire to learn and grow as a kid. Because as a kid, that's all you want to do. You're curious, you want to learn, you want to grow. As you get older, life happens, you kind of forget that. But being around kids remind me of what it's like to be youthful, which is your state of mind in a way. So it's kind of cool.
Nice. Yeah, because exactly like you were saying, you tend to forget because you're always on the go. You're thinking about different things. Now you're having bills to pay and whatever else. But when you go and film at those schools, those kids, they don't have much to worry about in the world, and it's awesome to see that. And it really, you feel that when you're filming them.
Yeah, and I know you work with kids and you film a lot of schools too, so I'm sure you can relate.
Yeah, it's awesome, and it's good because it's always different every single time. Sometimes you get schools that you work with and the kids are a little bit more shy.
Yes,
but it's not a bad thing because it just takes a little bit of time for them to warm up to you. And I know sometimes when I work with schools where the kids are a little bit shy, I just take out my long zoom lens and just try to prop somewhere and just get the shot of like some organic, interactions going on. But it's always adapting to your environment.
Yes,
that's all.
Totally agree with that.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah,
that's cool, man.
Yeah. It's fun. Those types of projects are super fun.
Yeah.
So, tell me your why. Like, why do you film?
That's a tough one.
It's a big question.
But I've actually talked about this with a couple of my friends. I didn't want to just follow the norm or what people consider the norm was, which get a degree, get a 9-to-5 job. That wasn't for me. I knew coming into it, I wanted to be a leader. So I'm working towards that process. And I didn't want to just follow somebody. I wanted to create my own life, my own path. And my why is to have more freedom with what I do what I love. That's the easy one.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's hard to put it into words. Let me see. My why is to share my passion with other passionate people. To put it that way. That's
nice. And basically it's through film.
Yes.
Basically through film.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I see that because you are creating communities such as Gimbros. You have your own community and your own profile that you're creating. And I just look at the interactions and I was like, wow, this is awesome.
Thanks.
It's genuine. It's not like, you see other profiles on Instagram and, they might have like a lot of following and stuff like that, but their interactions, their engagement doesn't seem as genuine, right? And I think also too, is you also interact with your followers. And whoever else interacts in your profile, and that's very important because it's a two-way street.
It is. I totally agree. I don't know if you noticed, but I try to reply back to everybody.
Yes.
So, and another thing too, I want to give back to the community in a bit because this is all self-taught for me, and I've spent hours and days, weeks, years making these mistakes, learning these techniques and tricks and tips. I want to share with people so that they could get to their goal faster.
Right.
So I want to be that person they can go to rely on in a way.
Yeah.
So.
Because there's a lot of students out there that are in school. They have this passion. They like to film, but nowadays there's no one route, because usually before it would be like, okay, if you like film, you would go to Hollywood. Yeah. You go be part of a studio, work your way up. Now, with that technology that we have and the communities like the social media and things like that, it's so easy to connect and then so easy to pave your own path when it comes to filming.
Totally agree.
Yeah. And so nowadays, I think it's easier, but it's also a little bit harder at the same time, just a little bit, just because it's easier to connect with other people. But if you are in like your situation, like starting out or like self-taught, like we were, you kind of have to make those mistakes. But if you have, like a person like you that wants to help and provide the information that you have, share the mistakes that you experienced earlier on to make sure they don't experience those. That's very, very important. I see for like today's youth, especially in filmmaking and things like that.
I agree.
And like you, I wish I had some people to look up to when I was filming and not make those mistakes, because when you're self-taught, you make those mistakes, but it's good at the same time because you really learn from it.
You don't forget those kind of mistakes.
Yeah, you don't forget those.
Did you have anyone that you shadowed when you started out, or is?
So when I started, like my first job was, so when I was in college, I played football my freshman year in college. I got recruited to play football up at the University of Puget Sound in Washington. So I played there for a year. At the end of the year, during one of the spring training practices, I broke my leg. Yeah, my tibia, fibula. So it was like facing that way. But anyways, after that, I knew I wanted to be in business, but I knew I wasn't going to be playing football forever. So I closed that chapter, tried to see, okay, what was I going to do for my career? And, got in touch with my mentor that summer because I had to get a mentor for my major in order to graduate. And so he saw that I made a video for my family's summer vacation trip at the lake. And he said, oh, that's very cool. Can you make some videos for my products, just product promo stuff? And I was like, sure, I'll do that. And he's like, you should really consider pursuing this. And I said, okay, I will. So I went back, so my junior year, and the football team wasn't doing really well at that time, and I wanted to help out still and be a part of that in any way I could. So I asked the coach, hey, can I create like a highlight film, just like a hype film for the football team before the season starts? And he's like, sure, go ahead. So I did, and I had sent it out to the team. They liked it. They shared it, shared it throughout campus. I mean, the school I went to, it wasn't the biggest. It was pretty small. So I think that was also a good thing too, in a way, because things can be spread faster and you can actually make a name for yourself, unlike going to like a big UC school or something like that. Yeah.
Right.
So I did that. And then eventually the athletic department saw those videos, and I made a video for every home game of the season. And they wanted me to do a video for all the sports teams on campus. So that was kind of like the first job. But in terms of job shadowing, it wasn't until I came back here and I shadowed a photographer. He wasn't actually a videographer, but he was a photographer, but it was for a wedding. And the couple said it was okay that I could just create a video for them because they didn't have that big of a budget, and they were more so for the photos, but it would be like a plus if there was a video. So, this is where I made one of my big first mistakes that I now looking back, I was like, I'm glad that happened, but I'm make sure not to happen before or after. So it was the audio. So I was basically the sole videographer, right? And I was creating a highlight, but when you do a wedding, you also have to have the video for the whole wedding put together and then have a highlight. I was just focused on the highlight, and my camera was the GH4, and I was using it for kind of like the first time. I was probably using it for a month until I was filming then. And then I was filming slow-mo, and in that camera, it doesn't capture audio when filming slow-mo. Right. And I thought you can like grab it after or whatever. Nope, there was no audio. And the videographer was kind of pissed, and I was so super embarrassed, and I was like, all right, from then on, I just make sure I have audio and a backup audio. So that was one of the biggest mistakes that I made. But now when I do weddings from time to time, I always make sure there's audio, backup audio, things like that. Yeah. Yes. So it's just things like that. It's like it really hits you hard, but you learn from it.
Right. Right. It's you learn it much more than having someone tell you don't make the mistake.
Right.
I'm sure growing up as kids, your parents tell you all these things. Yeah. But you're not really gonna learn until you make the mistake yourself.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. That's why you get a Sony. You record audio in slow motion.
Well, I do film on a Sony too, the A7S II.
Nice.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Because I know you film on the A7
R3.
R3.
Mm-hmm.
That one's a beast.
It's a good camera.
It's a good camera.
I wish I knew about the A7 III before it came out, which is like the exact same thing. Yeah. But better in low light.
I heard really good things about that camera.
Yeah.
It's good, and the price too. Can't beat that.
Yeah. I just didn't like how Sony released the R3 before the A7 III. Because the R3 is $1,200 more.
Yeah.
That you could have saved 4 months.
Come on, Sony, why'd you do that?
They did it on purpose, but it's okay.
Of course.
I forgive them.
Yeah, it's okay. But anyways,
Yes.
so I know we talked about,
Yeah.
this is two more questions. So I know we talked about, being self-taught. What would you say would be the advantages and disadvantages of being self-taught and not going to film school?
The advantages of being self-taught, you save money that you could invest towards gear and learn through experience on the field, and the disadvantage is that I've heard that when you go to school for it, you build this network, and that can get you a lot of jobs straight out of school. So I get that. I guess that's the advantages and the disadvantages of being self-taught.
Yeah, and I think it depends on the type of person because some people do well in a school environment. Others they can teach themselves and just get courses online if they need to.
Yes. Some people prefer to sit in the classroom and learn all that stuff. And others are more hands-on. Like I'm very hands-on, and I prefer to learn it on the field. Right. Versus it's hard for me to sit in one spot. I don't know if you can relate to that.
Yeah. It's like, Always, it's good to learn. What I've found for me is I like to learn hands-on and making mistakes and certain things, but actually doing it, not conceptually, but actually doing it in the field. So, and I know it's the same for you too. Yeah. So I mean, everyone learns differently.
That's very true.
But when it comes down to it, you're gonna be using the gear.
And
creativity as well.
Nothing against the school or anything like that. As long as it works for you.
Exactly.
Find out what you like.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So the last question that we have is, if you have one piece of advice for your younger self when you're starting out in filmmaking, what would that be?
Just one advice? There's so many.
If you have maybe like 3 that you want to talk about, you can.
3?
But
yes. Pursue filmmaking earlier. Stop drinking and partying. That's a different story. And the third thing is embrace the grind and the struggle.
Yes.
Because a lot of people go into this. They see the glamour that people show, like the highlight of it on Instagram, and it's easy to compare yourself to others, or it's easy to let other people's opinions hinder your growth. But what people don't see is the struggle behind what we go through to get to where we are. Exactly. And it's just like on top of the iceberg. There's so much beneath it, the struggle, the nights you don't sleep, the failures, and like negative feedback or whatever it may be. And I've learned, it was not until recently, like about 2 years ago, that I learned to embrace the grind. And when you appreciate the struggle as much as you appreciate the highlight of your career, things just kind of fall into place, and then it just snowball. Yes. So that's I think that would be the biggest advice I could give to myself. But knowing myself back then, my old version would probably not even listen to the me now. So. But those are some things I would say. Yeah, it's all part of the journey, You're growing as a filmmaker. You're making those mistakes, but it's all in the betterment of yourself. And I heard someone say, I forgot who it was, but they said that, if you are not willing to wake up in the middle of the night and do exactly what you're doing now, then it's not worth your time. Like, I remember there's times when, I'd be filming real estate, and I like to, it's good to film it during, golden hour. I try to do that when I can. And when I have the chance, I like to film like sunrises or the sunsets. But the sunrises are the hard part because you gotta wake up super early before then. And it's like, I wake up and I think to myself, is this what I really want to do sometimes? And then I just remind myself, it's like, I get the opportunity to film a sunrise, add that to a video, and this is something that I love to do. Of course. Yes, I love this. I'll do it all day, every day, And I think it's things like that when, and I know, like you were saying too, you get in such a groove, into a mode that sometimes, you forget that this is work. And I think that, like you were saying, a lot of the stuff that we do gets glamorized, and especially through social media.
And I think that's why it's very important to have like that, keep that divide between what's reality and, what's not, especially when it comes to social media. So that's very, very important.
Yes.
But yeah.
Man, everything you said just resonated so well with me. I agree 150%.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm so glad because, there's not a lot of filmmakers that I've been able to hang out with all the time. Because I'm hanging out with clients, I'm doing stuff.
Which is a good thing.
It's a good thing. It's a great thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a great thing. Or I'm like, by myself in the dungeon editing,
Yeah. Yes.
But to do some film talk, with a fellow filmmaker is awesome because you get to really share, the ups and downs and the actual story because everyone comes from a different place.
Yes.
But we're all in that same community of filmmaking, and it's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very awesome.
Yeah, man, and we're gonna collaborate soon.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm looking forward to it.
Here the entire time.
Yeah. So, is there anything in the future that you like to, or that you like to share? Like any plans?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
Any new Instagram video ideas?
I got a couple. I want to create another Gimbal training video, nice. Volume 2.
Volume 2?
Coming soon.
Look out for that.
I definitely want to collaborate more with content creators and get more into the YouTube realm, post more tips and tricks. I get a lot of questions on social media. And I try to post as much as I can and reply back to everybody. But I want to create more videos for YouTube. So that's the goal for now.
Okay.
I'm at the point where I think I could bring a good amount of value to people.
I think so too. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Because you got a lot of expertise, especially like in gimbals and stuff like that.
I like gimbals.
That's your thing.
Yeah. I also enjoy doing handheld too. It's more organic in my opinion, but everyone wants gimbals. All right. I'll show them the gimbal.
Give the people what they want.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's it. I mean, I'm so glad that you were able to stop by and share your experience with me and all of you. And you can check out Tam. All his social media info is going to be here. So make sure to check him out. He's awesome. Also check out his Gimbros community as well. A lot of cool stuff on there. So Tam, thanks again for joining, and we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.